Hello everyone, I'm Sasha Bray. It is time to Flashback Friday to the topics that we covered on Watching Your Wallet this week. Today we're going to take a look at a few ways to save on groceries as those gas prices spike. Also, a little explainer about the 10% credit card cap and how it might benefit you. Next up, some helpful suggestions to help you chip away at high interest debt that you may have racked up over the holidays. And speaking of the holidays, you may think that's the time of year that people get new devices and then make changes to their mobile carriers. Nope, it's actually the month of March, and we're going to share some advice from an expert about that. And finally, did you start 2026 with a new healthcare plan? It's a really good idea to do a quick check through right now so you don't get stuck with any surprise medical bills. Here's Watching Your Wallet. Realistically, oil prices are out of our control, right? But there are so many things that you can do to stretch your budget and maximize savings in the aisles at the grocery store. So let's get to it. First, create a menu for the week and stick to it to avoid food waste. Shop the sales to inspire you. For example, if potatoes are discounted this week, incorporate them into several meals. Next, swap name brands for store brands and shop in bulk when it makes sense and only if it actually fits into your budget.
If you didn't budget that amount for groceries that month, now you're using a credit card to pay for that purchase. Maybe you're not paying it off in full if you have a revolving balance like many consumers do. Now you're paying interest on that purchase, which is going to take away any discount you got in the first place by buying in bulk.
Money-saving mom Andrea Warrock says there are several apps you can use to help you get the most savings, including Ibotta and Flip.
That's spelled with two P's. This will show you grocery circulars all in one place on your phone. So you can kind of flip through to see which one has the best deals for the groceries in your meal plan.
With the app Fetch, you can snap photos of your receipts and build up points for gift cards.
And that could be a great way to boost your budget, offset future costs.
Another app option is Upside, which lets you claim cash back on food and gas purchases. One thing to keep in mind about these apps, they are collecting data about you, so read the privacy policy carefully before you download anything. Simply put, a 10% credit card cap would be beneficial for those who carry a month-to-month balance, along with a credit rating of good or better. For those who do not, you may want to start preparing now.
That mid to lower tier of consumer, they're the ones that are going to suffer from this.
Dean Yulkin is co-founder and co-CEO of Cardiff, a one-stop shop for same-day business capital and equipment financing. Yulkin believes President Trump's demand for a year-long 10% interest rate cap on credit cards is his way of getting something he can deliver to the American people come midterm November elections. He also believes that many Americans will be financially hurt if this happens.
Folks that are already impacted by the enormous disparity and wealth inequality that we're seeing in our country the last 3, 4, 5 years since COVID, as well as inflation. That consumer is only going to be made even worse off by this 10% interest rate cap.
The banking industry has also criticized the proposal. Americans who are already struggling with daily bills could face an even tighter financial squeeze.
If somehow this gets to Congress or this gets negotiated, those people will be locked out of borrowing using credit cards.
The balance on your card will be forced to earn interest for the bank at 10% for 12 months, but the card holder would not be allowed any additional funds.
You won't be able to use that card any longer.
Yulkin has also heard the support for the proposal. LendingTree puts the average credit card interest rate at nearly 24%.
And these folks don't have the best credit scores. What else? They don't pay on time. A lot of them default. And so they are that high-risk consumer that simply does not deserve a 10% interest rate.
That high-risk consumer may be pushed to more expensive predatory financial services and loans if they end up with a cut-off card.
We're failing to talk about personal responsibility, right? And personal responsibility rests on all of us as consumers.
So that means consumers with a credit score between 300 and 579 start rebuilding your credit now. Keep your credit utilization low. That's that percentage of credit that you're using versus the amount that you have available. And pay all your bills on time.
If I'm a lower FICO score consumer, if I'm someone that's considered subprime, that is a warning to me that I need to make sure that I'm not over leveraging myself, that I don't go and shop for something online that I can't afford.
If this becomes law, financial experts say it will be more important than ever to pay off any balances that you can, or at least begin to chip away on that debt. If you have high interest debt, I'm talking about credit cards here, look for ways now to lower the amount of interest that you're paying. Sarah Ratner, a personal finance expert with NerdWallet, says you could save hundreds of dollars a year just by making a few changes. And it starts with taking some time to shop around. You could look for a balance transfer credit card, which has a 0% interest promotion.
We see these for a pretty long period of time, sometimes a year or more, and that can save you hundreds of dollars on interest while you pay down the loan. But you want to make sure that you're timing your payments so that ideally you pay off the loan in full by the time that no interest promotion is over, so you don't begin to owe interest on the remaining debt.
If that's not an option for you because of your credit, or you don't want to take out another credit card, Ratner says you could also look into a personal loan.
And depending on what you qualify for, this could save you money because it might charge a substantially lower interest rate than your credit cards are charging. And it's a fixed monthly payment for a set period of time. So it's much easier to budget for than a variable credit card payment that changes every month.
You could also call up your credit card company and ask for a lower interest rate. It helps if you've never missed a payment, and as with anything, it never hurts to ask. You might think that all the electronic sales on Black Friday or Cyber Monday would lead to a lot of people changing their phone plans in November or December. But it's actually March when this happens the most. Jeremy Watkin is the Director of Customer Experience for Number Barn, which works with nearly every wireless carrier. He says there are some reasons why March stands out, including the fact that it's tax time. So people are going over their finances and looking for places to save.
Customers are starting to get their tax refunds, and that gives them a little bit of financial freedom to be able to pay off their phone contract, get out of their contract, pay off that, whatever latest version of the iPhone that they had.
If you're shopping around for a new phone plan, Watkins says, look beyond the introductory pricing and ask, how much is my bill going to be after the promotion ends?
Don't be too bedazzled by the promotion that you got. I think we've all been a part of promotions where at the end of the promotion, we saw our bill go up by, I don't know, X number of dollars. And it's a little bit shocking. And you realize, oh, shoot, I signed a contract for 2 years.
Watkins says ask about taxes and regulatory fees as well, which Number Barn found can range from $5 to $15 per month, and they do differ from state to state. And you also want to ask if there are any activation fees, which could be $40 or $50. And confirm what is included in your data plan, including if you have a mobile hotspot and if there are any limitations if you happen to stream a lot. If you're starting the year with a new health plan or even just new benefits, advocates say it is worth taking a few minutes to check over what is covered and what is not.
Americans are paying more than ever for their insurance.
Patricia Kelmar is Senior Director of Healthcare Campaigns for the U.S. PIRG Education Fund. She says when healthcare is this expensive, it pays to understand your insurance and your medical billing rights before you get care.
That's why we always recommend people get really clear on what their insurance covers and what it doesn't.
In its recently updated consumer guide on medical billing rights and protections, the PIRG Education Fund lays out practical steps to help you avoid common billing problems and surprise charges. First, understand your network.
Even if you're on the same exact plan, your provider may no longer be part of that insurance network. So you always just want to double check, make sure every time you're setting up an appointment to ask, are you in my insurance network?
Next, check your medical transportation benefits.
Another important thing to realize is that most people don't have non-emergency medical transportation benefits. So that means if a hospital sends you in an ambulance to another hospital, but it's not a medical emergency, that may be considered non-emergency, and wouldn't be covered at all.
Kelmar also urges caution with medical credit cards or other non-traditional payment options. She says promotional zero-interest offers can come with strict terms and can get expensive if you miss a payment or a deadline.
And if your payments aren't on time every single time and the payments aren't the full amount every single time, that credit card company will apply that interest retroactively as if you've never paid a payment for months. And the interest rate is usually around 30%, so much higher than a normal bank credit card.
Another tip, if you have hospital care scheduled this year, look up your hospital's financial assistance policy right now so you're not scrambling later if a bill comes in that's higher than expected. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Sasha Bray.